Gentlemen,
Jonny.
hello. It's good to have some company. It's quite apt actually that I'm talking to you guys about a film kind of around isolation because I got COVID again the other day and I've been locked in this room for the last few days. So I'm
Oh,
starting to have a sense of what that feels like again.
how are
But
you
it's good.
feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling all right. I probably look better than I feel, and my room certainly looks better than it smells at this stage. But otherwise, I'm in good spirits. What have I got to complain about? Gentlemen, congratulations on an astonishing piece of work. A film about kind of feeling isolated, but also being kind of both reliant on others and yet in complete control of your own destiny. And I thought I'd open with something like, for the both of you, have you ever felt in your careers in the arts to a point where you've had no control and perhaps a little bit lost or at sea? And how did you deal with that? How did you overcome that in your respective sort of journeys?
Well, control in the arts. It takes an ensemble. It takes a whole group of people. It takes source material. I think the only control that I really have is over what I would choose to be a part of, and the choices that I make on the day when it's either being filmed or performed. I love collaborating and working with Darren Aronofsky, a world-class filmmaker, and learning how much of a remarkable resource he is for bringing together people who are at the top of their game. Gives me a great deal of comfort in knowing that it's being controlled very, very well. I can't answer for Sam because ultimately everything that we had to say or act or portray was in service of his screenplay adapted from his award-winning stage play. So that he was there with us every day was very helpful, and his input and opinion we valued a great deal.
Does it feel slightly different for you, Sam? I suppose, like writing. Do you feel sometimes a bit more like a master of your own destiny? In a way, you put something on the page and your journey goes from there. Whereas if you're acting or perhaps even directing, you're having to wait for another project that comes around that either suits you or that you want to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of answers the other question too. Is I kind of feel like when I do feel that lack of control or that sense of isolation, that's when I write a play. I mean, it's certainly when I wrote this one, when I felt like, I was living in a deeply cynical world that's even more cynical today. And I just wanted to tell the story of somebody who had like an undying faith in other people. And I think that's kind of, I think over the years, The Whale was probably 15 or so plays ago for me, but I think every play comes from a place of me seeing something or experiencing something in the world that leaves me doubting or questioning. And the play, it's not an answer, and I don't think The Whale provides, or any of my plays provide easy answers. But I think they're searching. They're looking for meaning in a world that can sometimes feel meaningless.
I've heard in the past people say like the role chooses the actor rather than the actor chooses the role. Do you feel, Brendan, looking through your career, you've had some incredibly like iconic roles, and one particular one that I really, really enjoyed a few years back was Gods and Monsters that you did with a incomparable Sir Ian McKellen. I do wonder now, like, do you think your comic timing, your talent in an area that not everyone has, in a way, kind of defined your choices going forward in your career? Was it almost like a gift and a curse because it meant people thought this guy's hilarious, we've got to give him as much comedy as possible, and there were fewer kind of Gods and Monsters along the line? Or do you see it's more kind of serendipitous like than that?
Interesting take. I see it this way. When I worked with Ian, something that I took away was that you need to approach the work, the day, each scene as if it's the first time you ever have, and also as if it's the last time you ever will. And that this was a film that was made in the time of COVID, at the pinnacle of this pandemic, before vaccines. We were right there. with protocols in place to keep us safe, yes, but something interesting happened for that, which was good, that we took care of one another even more. And it shows when you see this film, almost as if it's a secret filter or something. Like, what is that added ingredient? And I know that it informs the message of empathy that the whale has for us. And the same remains true. Connect with the people who you're working with. In this case, I had Sadie Sink and Hong Chow and Samantha Morton. It was incredible, each three of them. Ty Simpkins as the drifter. It was terrific as filmmaking experiences go for me, for all those reasons.
Well, it feels like a film that's been made with a lot of love anyway, and I'm sure it's going to be received with a lot of love as well. Gentlemen, sadly, that's all the time I've got to share my love with you this evening, but I do wish you all the very best. I hope our paths cross again, perhaps in person, and
Feel better soon.
Thank you.